Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss books and horror. And today, because it is approaching the end of September, so October is just there, we can already smell it, the pumpkin spice is in the air. I'm here to let you know which books you can pick up for spooky season. So my list includes a total of 10 things, and as always I try to make this list as varied as possible. So I do have a novella, middle grade, adult, short horror stories, all of the good things. I just want to give you guys options, and let's get into the video.
It's coffee time!
Halloween is just around the corner. We can already start preparing for it, and it is one of those months where, I love to indulge in everything pumpkin spiced. I am going to acknowledge that I'm that person that the moment September comes around, the 1st of September, I'm already looking for that pumpkin spice. I'm already looking for that. Anything pumpkin spice, I'll take it. Pastries, coffees, and at home I do brew pumpkin spice coffee. Either I buy it already mixed or I buy the pumpkin spice like grounded separate and mix it with my coffee, because that's just the vibe. All year long, you guys know I enjoy my blood, my gore, my spookiness, my supernatural elements, and it is both in books and movies. It is what gives me life. Horror is something that I've always loved since I was a kid, and October is like the season where everybody embraces that freaky side of them. Everybody wants to watch some horror, and I'm really happy to see so many people embracing the Halloween season and joining us and reading some horror and watching some horror movies as well. Every year I do try to put together a little list of some books that you can read during Halloween season. Some of them are, based on the Halloween night or All Hallows Eve. Other ones aren't, but they have like this spooky, gloomy vibe that is perfect for the season. So let's get started with this year's 10 Halloween book recommendations. Let's start with The Dark Between the Trees by Fiona Barnett, and I chose this one because it's kind of like your typical English folklore horror story, but a little bit surrealist. It is told through two different perspectives. The first narrative is told from the point of view of some soldiers that when they were ambushed, they had to run for cover into the woods. Precisely, they had to run to the Moresby Wood, and this is a place that is known for being haunted, being a place of witches, and everybody even rumors that the devil himself can be found in those woods. 17 men went in and only 2 made it out alive, and the stories they tell of the things they have seen seem to be a little bit improbable. That is why the other narrative is the present day, and we follow a group of women led by a historian that want to go back to the woods to try to figure out what of the things the soldiers saw and experienced are true, which ones are not, and what exactly happened to them. Of course, needless to say, none of these groups that go into the woods are gonna have a good time. Moving on to The Midnight Game by Cynthia Murphy, and this has been one of my favorite books this year. I also read it at the beginning of the year, so it was a great start of 2023, and I feel this one is gonna be perfect for Halloween because of the cozy horror atmosphere of being trapped in a building with someone that is trying to kill you all. This book includes mixed media as we follow our main characters that meet on a chat room where they discuss, horror games and horror like legends and myths, and they decide to play one of those games, which is the Midnight Game. You have to go to an empty building and you have to kind of summon the Midnight Man following a certain set of rules. And while you're playing the game, you have to hold a candle in your hands. No phones allowed, just a regular wax candle, and you cannot allow that candle light to go off. The book was filled with horror, with tension, with secrets, with twists, and because it's based in the middle of the night, with candlelight in an abandoned building, it is the perfect atmosphere and setting for Halloween night. Suddenly a Murder by Lauren Munoz, and this is a brand new release of September, and it is a YA mystery thriller, and when I saw the cover, I knew I had to get this book, so I'm gonna be getting it shortly because I am really excited about this whodunit. And I thought this would be the perfect mystery thriller for YA readers or people that are looking to read more YA books this year and solve a mystery. 7 friends throw a 1920s party and all is going well until one of them gets murdered. It is a locked room mystery thriller where we have to solve a murder, and that is a premise that I love and adore, you know, from back to Agatha Christie, who is the queen of whodunits, but these type of trope where people are trapped somewhere, locked in a room with a murderer, they don't know who did it, they get me every time. After the murder, basically every guest at the party is a suspect, so there's gonna be interrogations and we're gonna have to try to, you know, solve the mystery with the characters. So this is one that I'm really excited about. The next one I am so pumped and excited for. It literally just released on the 14th of September and I bought it right away, so it should be coming to me really soon. Probably by the time this video is up, I already have the book in my hands, and that is the very long awaited, at least for me, the new book by Cameron Chaney. And if you have never read Autumn Crow before, pick it up this season because that is a fantastic read for Halloween. But I've mentioned that book so much on my channel that I don't mention it anymore for Halloween. I don't want to bore you, but that is such a good short horror story compilation, and it's all based in the same town, which makes the horror stories kind of tie in together, and it's wonderful. And now we have finally the first volume on the long-awaited series Autumn Crow High, and the first one is called Fresh Hell. We are in the 90s, specifically 1994, and we have Bailey, and she has been suffering from nightmares, seeing really gruesome things, but all focus always in the very same boy. And when she returns back to school in the fall, she realizes that the boy from her nightmares covered in blood is actually attending the school, and he seems to be fine. He's just as handsome as in her dreams, and she wonders if the nightmares that she has been having are just kind of like a premonition, a warning of something that's going to happen to him. So should she say something? Is he safe? I don't know, we'll have to find out. Then we have 2 Minutes with the Devil by Matt Michelli, and this is a novella that I read recently this year, and this is a novella that I knew the moment I read it that it was gonna be perfect for Halloween because it's short, it's kind of like it, a little bit that kind of vibe, because it is an evil that returns every year and targets its young kids. It's the story of a small town where there is an evil that comes and takes the children when they play this game 2 Minutes with the Devil. And I gotta tell you, this is such a good example of how can you create horror and tension and twist in such a short amount of pages. It is so wonderful that I found myself craving more. I so wish this would have been a longer novella or a full-on novel because I loved every page of it. And if you're looking for a short, spooky read for the Halloween night, this one is one that you can read in one sitting and you're gonna love. Then we have All Holos by Christopher Golden. This one was released in January this year, which I thought it was weird because it's based on October, on Halloween night. But now that we're getting to that spooky season, now it's the time to pick it up. This book is based on the 80s, which I always love books based on the 80s and the 90s, and it's Halloween night, and there is some sort of evil that is lurking in the neighborhood on Halloween night. Again, another one that sounds perfect for the season. There's a lot of different things that start to happen in Halloween night that get the neighbors really worried. One of the things that starts happening is there is a bunch of weird kids roaming the neighborhood, not asking for candy. They're not trick-or-treating, even though they are dressed in this kind of vintage looking Halloween costumes, but they are asking for help. They're running away from the so-called the cunning man, and they're asking for help. It sounds great and perfect for the spooky season, so this is another one that actually takes place on Halloween night if you're specifically looking for books that take place in October. And then we have The October Boys by Alan Miller, which is another book that takes place, wait for it, in the 80s. We are in 1988, and you guys know, like I said, Halloween, especially 80s and 90s, is just the best. We're in London and we have a bunch of trick-or-treaters. They are around 12 years old and they are in their costumes, you know, trying to get some candy when they hear the song of the ice cream truck. So what is the ice cream truck doing in the middle of October when it's cold out there? But I will tell you that ice cream truck is gonna take one of the kids. And then we jump forward to 2016, where one of the kids that is now a little bit older, obviously, it's still kind of traumatized by what happened to his friend that was never found. And I think this story is fantastic and probably something that would appeal to people that love the black phone and stuff like that. That's kind of like the vibe that it's giving me. Poems Bewitched and Hunted by John Hollander. And this is a compilation of horror poems, which is something that you don't see so often, or I don't see many people recommending. But these ones are also based on Halloween, which is perfect. And I know not everybody has a lot of time to sit down and read in a month, or during the spooky season we might be also busier doing a lot of, you know, movie watching and going to events for Halloween. So if you're looking for something really short that almost anybody can do, then you can try some poetry if that's something that you enjoy. Next I have It Found Us by Lindsay Curry, and I know I also just spoke about this book, but when I was trying to compile this list, I realized that this is really truly a great book for spooky season because of the atmosphere in the middle of the night in a cemetery, and I thought the writing was fantastic and I really enjoyed the main character. So this is one that is definitely a great choice if you're looking to read a middle grade book, or if you have kids and you want to get them a spooky book for the season. Hazel is 12 years old and she is what some people would consider nosy, but she wants to consider herself an investigator, a mystery solver, and she loves to figure out what's going on, what everybody's business is, solve mysteries. And yeah, the parents are not really happy about that. But then one night she decides to follow her brother that goes to the cemetery to play a game of hide and seek with his friends. So Hazel follows them there. She hides so they cannot see that she's there. She's just trying to figure out what they're doing, and they seem to just be playing a harmless game of hide and seek. But one of the friends is never found again. The police get investigating. They cannot find any traces of the missing kid, and that is when Hazel knows she's gonna have to figure this out herself. She's gonna have to solve this mystery because the police are not able to, so she needs to use her skills to figure out what happened to that kid. And I thought Hazel as a main character was such a strong female character that was really determined, that believed in what she could do. She didn't question, you know, that she was able to solve the mystery. She was not scared. I really enjoyed her as a character, but there are many creepy, spooky moments in the cemetery. Plus, the cemetery has a backstory that we're gonna learn slowly that I thought was wonderful to integrate those elements, almost like real, you know, background of the place. And I don't know, everything added a lot to the atmosphere. So I think this is gonna be great for spooky season. And I wanted to finish the video with number 10, but in this case I'm gonna give you a double because I want to recommend you guys some short horror stories for the spooky season as well. The first one is The Beast You Are by Paul Tremblay, and this is a book that came out this year. I have enjoyed so far every single Paul Tremblay book that I have read. His books are very different when it comes to the themes, but every single one of them has landed for me, and they are quite, you know, different and unique. And so if you're looking for unique short horror stories, and if you have read previous books by Paul Tremblay and enjoy them, this might be a good choice for a short horror compilation for Halloween. And if you're looking for a different type of short horror stories, I have for you A Taste of Darkness, which are 13 YA horror tales, and this one just came out in the month of September, and it features many authors that we know and love in the horror community, like Amy McCall, like Dawn Kurtajik, we have Kat Ellis, Catherine Foxfield, Rosie Talbot, and Cynthia Murphy, among others. And this is a great choice for short horror stories because they made sure when they curated this compilation that there was going to be different types of subgenres of horror to make sure that every reader would find here something that they enjoy. And these were the 10 book recommendations for Halloween, with a bonus because I gave you 2 short horror story compilations. So in the end, it's kind of 11, and also 12 because if you've never read Autumn Crow before by Cameron Chaney, I do strongly recommend that one for Halloween because it has all the Halloween vibes. Alright, you guys, thank you guys as always so much for watching and supporting the channel. Let me know down below if there's any other books that you are looking forward to read during Halloween season. Are there any other books that are based on Halloween night that you would like to recommend me? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys as always so much, and I hope to see you all in our next coffee time. Bye!